I'm just painting in some mid-tone. Trying not to be too careful. I need this to be, I'm going to wipe that out right there because I need that to stay white. Because that's going to be part of that river flowing up. And this is the bank, and then some rocks which are going to be dark later. And this is just so I can see my design. And some tree roughness. I think I've got my big shapes in there. And while that is still wet, I'm going to go back in with some darks. So this is my little design 3-value Notan kind of study. So I have some darks back there. I'm going to have some darks up here, and maybe a little bit. And I want to make sure that light comes through there, that river. Touch it a few places. This river bank on that side of the river, excuse me, gotta blow my nose. I swear to God, sometimes I think I'm allergic to watercolor. I've had a lot of allergy issues lately. I just want to sneeze. Okay, so here's a rock, and here's one, and here's another one over there, and there's going to be several more, but I'm not going to worry about those right now. So there's that bank over there, and some rough where the river starts to bend around. I'll make that bend a little bit more. And I see I have something going on back there. I'm not quite sure what, but I'm going to make that a little darker. And see if I can make this pointy part of my brush work. Just to suggest, so then I don't have to switch brushes, and I'm just doing an indication of this stuff anyway. So I have most of this darker foliage up here, and that kind of represents that, and a little bit there, and a clumpier part there, and that's kind of cool. So that looks like a tree-ish. I think I'll use my dagger for the rest of it. So we have this big tree that's leaning out over the river. Guess I need a little more paint. And then there's another tree that's coming up at an angle, and this limb is coming out, and these guys are just anything that makes it look tree-like will do. Make this a little darker over here to take it off the page. And I think we're pretty much there for this indication. I'm going to make that a little thicker. It looks a little more stable. Go back to my mid-tone. I hit a little hint here and a little hint, and I'm going to brush it with the brush so I get that sparkly kind of water. And I see that I would have, let's do this. I'm just going to go like that with some damp water, and that will let me put in a few go back and reflections. Yeah. I'll take this off of here, and right through here, and right through there. That gives that sparkly effect on the water, just because I'm hitting the tops of the bumps on this cold press. And I'm going to darken that in because I want your eye to go up to this hot spot up here. So that means I'm going to kill a little bit of that happening and reinforce the contrast a little bit right here. Now I can put in a few little rocks happening. Doesn't really make a lot of difference. It just finishes it off, so now I can kind of sort of look at it a little bit more objectively. And I am going to go right through here, just because I want that to be very strong. And so there's my little, there's a little study of one way that I could paint this. I'm going to pull this off. It's one way that I could paint this this scene that we're painting in the upper left-hand corner, which I don't think you can see here because I'm shooting it on a different camera. Anyway, so there is that done quickly and hopefully freshly. There we go. And is that what I envision for my painting? My final painting. My big painting. Now that I've painted this in my value study, basically it's three values, black, white, and mid-tone. My three-value Notan. I see the shapes, I see the light, I see where I want this to kind of go, and Now when I do this one in color, I'm only going to use ultramarine and burnt sienna. I have a guide. I have a design to go from, and I'm going to mix up a little bit of neutral. So even though I'm going to put a little bit more work into this one, as far as I'm going to paint some of the white, very light. Here's some pale blue back here, so I can have a little tone. And now I'm going to use my neutral with blue on the biased on the cool side. To go ahead and paint this in like I did before, so that give me the atmospheric perspective, and I'm going to leave room for some of these little tree shapes, and then I had this other hill behind here, and there's the highlight on my river back there. And so there's kind of my atmospheric perspective, if you will. I'm going to bias this a little bit more, this up in here on the by adding a little more of the burnt sienna, a little warmer color. And again, I'm trying to keep this as loose as I did the other guy. And I'm going to add a little dark along here. And that's using both of these colors. That's what I want to see what dark is. What's dark? I'm going to put a little bit of that back there. I see I have some going along right along the edge of this for my contrast. So I'm going to put that in. And I'll back off on the value a little bit and put some of this in for this part in the background. And so I think that works okay so far. I'm going to use some of this dark so I can just start blocking this in. This is that landmass. Here's another one on this side. Here's another one that I'm going down there with. Now I'm getting into river, so I'm going to use my blue. So I kind of like the way this is breaking out in my, what do I want to say, my value structure. I'm stepping back, warm to cool. Warm comes forward, cool recedes, and I'm getting a little lighter as I step back. I know some of these things are in shade, and I'm going to make a neutral color through that shade, and I'm going to again, I'm just brushing this with my the side of my brush, and I'm it's better done without the pad, without the gravity. Anyway, so that will impart that sparkly effect on the water. Also will give me an edge to go to. I think we're getting pretty close to our land masses. It's kind of cool. Being done. I want to, just for me, change this just a tad. I'm going to use there we go. Now I think I'm going to bias this on the warm side for some of these trees coming down, and these bigger trees over here. And we'll, yeah, there we go. A little more colorful. Just a tad there. There we go. That makes sense to me for the two-color part of this. We're getting here pretty quickly. Of course, we've already done, had experience doing that one our study. So let's just see if we can't keep it the same looseness. This was a big tree going up here, and I had it branching off, and another tree. And I'm going to take the side of my brush. I'm going to blot my brush first, but I'm taking the side of my brush here and just adding a little dark to that. And this is going to demand some dark in here. It's too wet. It's too wet. There, that's better. Can actually go back in here and add a little depth to that. And I think I will make this on the blue side. Let that settle a tad. There's a couple of reflections. Could be reflections. This is going to be darker over here, where these trees are coming out. That'll work. I'm going to put a few little accents tree shapes happening back here, and just a suggestion of something. And using these two colors together makes a beautiful neutral look how beautifully that plays, that dark. See if I can't make a little bit of that more that pure burnt sienna is quite nice actually. And a little bit stronger. Maybe not that strong. A little bit stronger color down here. I think that'll work. There. That needed a little bit there. And some of our dark, a little bit of blue, a little bit of brown together, and we can very easily put in some dark to make this whole thing give it a little more depth. There we go. I want to add just a taste of this brighter color right here. There we go. Anyway, now we have a little two-color study with actually a third color because we made that out of the brown and the blue together. I still want my strong light to be coming from up here. That's an interesting horizon line to me. And I think the other parts of this support that. I kind of know where to look, and I've given myself a place for my eye to travel around. That's probably just enough. That's enough putzing. Not going to make any difference. So now let's see what we have here. Take the tape off. So if we want to figure out a color study, so if we did another palette study, then we could figure out, do we like this? Should we make it autumn? More autumn? Should we make it summer? Should we make it winter? What season is it? What time of day is it? We could also kind of pick that. This is fairly this is fairly backlit coming from here, but here anyway we have I'll back off so you can see it. We have a couple of versions of that painting on the left that we can figure out. I do think that this is pretty much as fresh as the one on the left, which is what I was striving for. And there's parts about the left that I like that I wish I would have done in the right, and there's parts about the right that I wish I would have done in the left, and so on and so forth. But all in all, I think I've accomplished what I started out to do. And I think they work okay.
Right.
So all I'm trying to do is capture my reference material, and I'm taking this pretty straight. As you saw, we could crop this several different ways. There are several paintings in here. I could probably pick out a half a dozen paintings in here. And by eliminating stuff, changing stuff, moving stuff, I'm sure I could get half a dozen paintings out of this. And these are just two little studies. That's what these are for, because they don't take very long to see what we can design. You know, that's the reason I'm not a big nut on when I'm out in the boonies taking photographs. For me, because I'm not a photographer, I mean, everybody's a photographer, everybody's an artist, for God's sake. But I'm not after a professional photograph. What I'm after is I'm after the essence of that, the light, the shot, that whatever was happening for me. What attracted me to get out my camera or my paints. So that's all I'm trying to do in these guys is, and I don't try to take the perfect shot. In fact, I don't take photos anymore. I take movies. And I go back and I do capture stills later on, because I don't care about the detail. I don't care about the resolution as much as I do what shapes were they about, and why, what made me paint that. Was it the light? What was it? So yeah, I like the
Horrors.
I'm sorry?
What you just said. Horrors. You don't care about the resolution. You don't care about the focus. You don't care about...
No, I know. Isn't that blasphemy, right?
Oh, my gosh.